morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rainbow and Bloom channel. I'm Melissa, and Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy living your best life, Happy holidays, all of that. I hope you're enjoying your time. So today I was thinking about, the holiday season and gratitude, which is something that we express a lot during this time, what we're thankful for the past year, what we're hopeful for the next year. And sometimes when I'm sweaty, whoo, Lord, it's hot. Sometimes most of the time, right, when we're sick and we have chronic illness and we're chronically reminded of our limitations, we can have trouble finding things to be grateful for. We can have trouble even seeing a purpose for our life because we're so busy just worrying about our welfare, our well-being in our own body. Like when you're a prisoner in your own body, you always have to think about the state of your well-being. It's always present, and it's a burden, and it can feel like the world is on your shoulders, and there's no way out, and what is there to be grateful for? Sometimes we do feel like that when in those low points. So I was thinking about that. For some reason, this is what triggered that thought. For some reason, I remembered a girl that I met at the doctor's office, the oncologist, years ago. And I thought she had scleroderma. And so I asked her, do you have scleroderma too? Because her skin looked, like something was going on with her skin. And she said no, and she told me what it was. And I don't remember, something I never heard of. Hello. And it was hard to pronounce. But she was telling me her story, her experience with this illness, how it affects her. And one of the ways that it affects her is it makes her itch all over, all day long. She itches, and so she had scars all over from scratching herself. But listening to her story, I couldn't even believe what I was hearing, like she had it worse than me. And I had scleroderma and cancer. And I listened to her and I just felt like she had it worse than me. Because her story sounded like really awful. My story is bad. Her story was, in my ears, worse. And so I listened, and I was like comforting her as best I could. Sometimes comforting somebody is just listening to them, but saying encouraging things. Not sometimes when people are trying to be encouraging, they're what's the word? It's not. It's kind of more like insulting, and I can't think of the word right now. Yeah. If I can remember it, I'll put it in the notes below. But sometimes it's not encouraging. It's just annoying. So I don't think I was annoying, but I was trying to be, because I was like, I've experienced this, and this, and I get like this, whatever. So I was talking to her. But my point is that even in the middle of your stuff, there's always something to be grateful for. No matter what, there is something to be grateful for. And in this holiday time, a lot of times people feel down in the dumps, sometimes there's family issues or whatever. The holidays can be actually very depressing for a lot of people, but when you can focus on somebody else, when you go through this stuff, even though it feels terrible, it actually presents opportunity. And there's an opportunity there's also a mosquito that I hope is not going to bite me. There's an opportunity to be there for somebody else. And when you can focus on somebody else or something else, it reminds you that you do have a purpose and you do have power and authority in yourself, even in your moment of weakness, you know? So I think about the Apostle Paul, who had a thorn in his side. You know, first of all, he was a mass murderer. He was a serial killer of people who followed the way, which became Christianity. And he saw the light and became like the biggest crusader for the kingdom. And, you know, he established the church and everything. But he had a thorn in his side. He had some kind of illness that caused him constant pain. And you would think, well, you know, this is God's dude. Like, what? So, you know, even Paul could not get healing. But, you know, what people believe, scholars believe, is that Paul needed to have that. Because when we're in misery, it's a reminder. You know, like when you're going through something, a challenge or something, you get really focused, like you feel a whole lot of purpose, and you can get really intense with your focus. It's kind of like that. Like it was a reminder to him. You have a mission, you have a calling, and that's your priority in life. And it kept him humble. It kept him humble. Because a lot of times when we are doing something, you know, we're doing stuff for people and, you know, we're getting awards and all this stuff, we get very, you know, big and, you know, cocky. You know, it kept him humble. And so even though, and I'm not saying, like, nobody should go through this. Nobody should go through this. But if it's something that you're going through, it can also be a blessing in disguise until you reach your breakthrough. And that's how you keep focused until you reach your breakthrough. I'm telling you what I've done. I'm telling you what worked for me, not just kind of talking stuff. And I'm not saying it's easy to do at all, but how you have to take control of your thoughts and not be led by your emotion, not ignore it, but don't be led by it. And one of the ways that you can condition yourself to have a spirit of gratitude is to focus on how you can use your struggles to better yourself, improve yourself, but also to help somebody else. That's kind of how it works. So that's my Christmas message to you. Try to meditate on things that are empowering and see how you can divert that energy, that spirit of anxiety and defeat into something purposeful, because there's opportunity there. And it's not easy to do necessarily, especially depending on your personality. It might not be the easiest thing to do, but it's doable. And it's a way it's kind of like your own medicine. You're giving yourself spiritual medicine. And that can help you to overcome those negative emotions, you know, channel that energy to something good. So that's my holiday message, you guys. I hope you can, what am I trying to say? I just hope you have a happy holiday. That's all. Happy holiday. Happy New Year. I hope I speak to you again before the new year, but I'll be traveling, so we'll see. And yeah, be positive, okay? Take care.